Hello guys, this is Aces here, and today I would like to talk about whether or not psychokinesis is real. Now, before I talk about the existence of psychokinesis, I would first like to address the parapsychological terms for it. In parapsychology, there are two terms for psychokinesis, or PK as an abbreviation. One is macropsychokinesis, and the other one is micropsychokinesis, or MacroPK and MicroPK. Now, before I get into those terms, let's talk about what psychokinesis means. Psychokinesis, well, in general public, means the ability to levitate objects or move stuff with your mind by focusing really hard on it. Now, that is generally not the case. In parapsychological studies, psychokinesis is actually ability for the mind to affect matter or random events using the power of the thought or will. It is technically a mind-matter interaction, or mind over matter, to put it in easier terms. Alright, let's start with MacroPK. What is MacroPK? Macropsychokinesis is the ability to levitate or move objects using the power of your mind. It is basically a psychokinetic force that it is obvious. For example, if someone was using MacroPK, that means that you'll be able to see that person levitating a chair or moving cups with their mind. That is basically what MacroPK is. It is obvious psychokinetic ability. For example, X-Men, Carrie, what else? The KGB case of Nina Kulagina. Those are cases of MacroPK. MicroPK, on the other hand, is a different matter. MicroPK is the ability to affect random events or quantum events using the power of your thought. For example, influencing the outcomes of a coin, a die, or dice, for plural, are examples of MicroPK because you are psychokinetically influencing the odds. Now, a more smaller scale PK is when you psychokinetically influence the outcome of quantum events, including electrons, photons, or quantum decay. Random number generators or random event generators use quantum decay to generate zeros and ones, randomly. MicroPK would basically be affecting those odds. For example, if I want ones to come out on the random number generator, then if I keep on focusing on it and a lot of ones comes out on the random number generator, then that is basically MicroPK because I'm affecting the random number generator to bring more ones than zeros. Now let's talk about MacroPK. MacroPK is a famous concept to the general public because there are a lot of movies such as X-Men, Carrie, and a lot of documentaries such as Nina Kulagina and Uri Geller that document its existence. MacroPK is well known to the media. There are YouTube videos of it, there are movies such as X-Men and Carrie about it, and there are even documentaries about it. Now, even though MacroPK is a really famous concept to the media, there are actually problems about it. The problem with MacroPK is that it can easily be faked by magicians or by people who just want attention on YouTube. Now, the movies, I won't say anything about that because obviously they're fake. But when it comes to the media such as YouTube or documentaries, you always have to apply skepticism. The benefits for skepticism is that it helps you stay away from delusion or living in the fantasy world. Now, when I say skepticism, I do not mean to reject the claimant out of hand. What I actually mean is do not believe the claimant until you actually see some proof that it is not done by trickery or any other means. The reason why I'm telling you is because there's a lot of YouTube videos of people doing telekinesis and they're all fakes. They're not even real. In fact, I would say that probably 90% or around there are actually just people that just want attention of them doing telekinesis. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm closed-minded or I do not believe in it. The reason why I'm saying this is because I actually experienced it myself after 7 or 6 years of studying psychic phenomena. So basically, we cannot take YouTube videos or documentaries really seriously. Even a documentary such as Uri Geller and Nina Kulagina is actually quite controversial. The reason why it's controversial is because there are magicians and skeptics alike attacking its credibility. For example, Uri Geller what is thought to be using trickery to bend the spoon by simply doing some type of magic trick on the spoon. I'm not sure. I think it has something to do with rubbing your fingers around the spoon and they will easily bend. I believe James Randi showed this trick before. Now, as for Nina Kulagina, in my opinion, is more believable. Now, skeptics like James Randi have been criticizing her for trickery. Now, the problem about that is that James Randi only showed Nina Kulagina how it could be fake. He never showed proof that it was really done that way. So basically, what James Randi did is he was asserting that Nina Kulagina was using magic tricks. Now, that doesn't mean that she is a fake, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that she is real, because there is no hard conclusive evidence that Nina Kulagina actually had telekinesis. Now, a lot of people say that, you know, she stopped a frog with her mind, or she caused, you know, someone in a cardiac arrest. But the thing is, there's no proof that she really did any of that. And the thing is, it was done during the Soviet, what was it? I think during the Cold War by the Soviet Union. And we learned a lot that the Soviets, they caused a lot of paranoia through delusion to the United States. So obviously we cannot take Nina Kulagina or any other documentaries real until proven otherwise. So since we cannot trust YouTube videos nor documentaries, is there any possibility that MacroPK could be real? Or is there any evidence that it is real? Well, there is this one user, and that actually makes me think that MacroPK might be real. His YouTube username, you might not have heard of him, is Darylson. Darylson was basically using a side wheel, and he was trying to move it inside a glass bowl. Now, a lot of people criticize him of, what is it, Crookes radiometer, which is basically a device that spins with the light. There is what else, convection, what else, using magnets, and other kind of criticism against him. Now, the problem with those criticism is that it actually has been disproven by me, if you actually look at my videos back then, and by others. Now, magnetism obviously is not the case, because aluminum foil is not magnetic. Now, if you don't know what a side wheel is basically a pyramid shaped like object that stays on the equilibrium on the pointed needle. The point of the side wheel is to try to spin it with your mind, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Now, the side wheel is quite controversial because since it's so easily, how can I put this? Since it has really low friction, that means that it could move so easily through air or by any other means. Now, I understand that kind of criticism, but you know, given the test that I've done, you know, it's actually quite hard to move a side wheel inside a glass, you know, container or a glass bowl. I highly recommend it to go see him on YouTube and see for yourself with an open mind. Now, personally, I think MacroPK can be quite real, but the thing is, don't think any of it as what is a sci-fi, such as, you know, X-Men or Carrie. There is no solid evidence that confirms its existence. The only evidence there is that the mind could be capable of moving objects that are really frictionless, such as side wheels or anything that is sticking on a string or a needle. Now, another thing I would like to point out is that MacroPK is unpredictable, meaning that you cannot control it. In other words, if you try to move a side wheel with your mind, you cannot tell when exactly it's going to move. It actually takes time and, you know, persistence to actually see that effect. That is, if it exists, of course. Now, if you want to see whether or not MacroPK is real, I recommend you to work on a side wheel and do it under a glass bowl or a glass container. The reason why I recommend a glass container is because it really limits the factors such as air, what else, you know, the air from coming out of your nose to move the side wheel. Actually, in my experience, I actually found it extremely hard to move the side wheel inside a container. It wouldn't move at all, even if I try to move around so fast. I will talk about side wheels in the next video, but for now, you know, I'll just stick right here. So the bottom line is MacroPK, it could be real, it can actually be done. Alright, so the next thing is MacroPK. MacroPK, once again, is the ability to affect random objects or quantum events using the power of your mind. Now, there is actually evidence that supports its existence. In parapsychology, there are these random number generators that generate zeros and ones, and according to the meta-analysis, there is really strong evidence of a mind-matter interaction going on with odds against chance of 1,000,000 or to 1,000,000,000 to 1. I'm not really sure, but I will do a video of it to confirm its existence. Now, another parapsychological studies regarding psychokinesis is Dr. J.B. Ryan's PK studies. Dr. J.B. Ryan conducted die studies to see whether or not humans can actually affect the outcome of a die according to their will. Now, Dr. J.B. Ryan conducted so many studies that were done under controlled conditions, and he also conducted a control group where the people throw the die but they don't try to influence it. Now, according to the meta-analysis, the Dr. J.B. Ryan studies actually supports the existence that humans can actually affect the odds of a die according to their will. For example, if I throw a die and I will it to land on 6, then it will land on 6. That is basically MacroPK. Now, according to the statistical analyses, it is highly unlikely that those results were due by coincidence or false positives. Now, I will also do this presentation on another video, so I won't go into full detail about this, but I will mention it and see for yourself. Now, another study that was conducted for micropsychokinesis is the Global Consciousness Project. The Global Consciousness Project basically puts random number generators around the world, including outside countries such as Europe, where if a interesting or a famous event goes on, the random number generators, they behave differently because so many people have put a lot of attention to a single thing. Now, according to the Global Consciousness Project, this is caused by a global conscious. Now, the problem with that hypothesis is that there is no proof that such thing exists. But there is evidence that when there's a lot of attention, the random number generators around the world, they behave differently. Now, the interesting thing about it is that the odds of that happening, it's basically a meta-analysis which combines the whole events into a large single study and combines the p-values for each study. The interesting about it is that there is a 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds of it happening to chance or not. Now, right now, the Global Consciousness Project is controversial to the scientific community because they believe that there's some kind of flaw going on. Now, I haven't really paid attention to these MacroPK studies because it's been 2 or 3 years that I haven't really focused on it. But the bottom line is, according to my skepticism and my open mind, MacroPK seems to be more believable than MacroPK because there are actually statistical analyses that confirm its existence. So it is possible that the mind can influence random events or random objects such as a die or coin, simply by just thinking about it. Now, the problem with that is that MacroPK is extremely weak and tiny, meaning that you can't have you can't wield a die or a coin to land on your will all the time. Basically, it might take like 100 or 1,000 or even more trials to even confirm its existence because it is so weak. Generally, in scientific testing, weak effects generally require a lot of trials in order to confirm its existence. For example, if a medicine is, let's say, 3 or 4% better than 50%, then it would take a lot of more, like maybe 100 or 200 clinical trials to confirm its existence. Now, I will also talk about this on the next video, but the bottom line is MacroPK could be real. Well, actually, chances of being more real than MacroPK. because there's a lot of scientific evidence supporting it. Alright guys, well, this is Aces here, and I hope you learned what psychokinesis is, and I also hope you learn how to approach it and apply skepticism to it. Now if you have any questions or concerns regarding about this, please let me know in the comment section below, and if you like my video or agree with me, please leave a like, and thanks for watching.